Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of Season 3 of Shameless on Showtime. Just got done with Season 3 last night. You guys know I've done my review of Season 1 and 2, and man, I'm still really into the show. This has to be one of the absolute best shows out there right now. It's definitely right up there with things like The 100 and Penny Dreadful is still on, and the originals for me. Obviously, very different shows, but what I'm saying is that Shameless is definitely among my favorites right now for sure. I've said this in every season review I've done so far, and I'm going to continue to say it. It's mix of it's dramedy, it's mix of awkward, dark, black humor, and then it really makes you genuinely feel for the characters, and has really good, serious, more emotional moments too, that oftentimes exceed other strictly drama shows in that regard, which is really, really impressive. But it's really just an amazing show, and season 3 overall I really liked. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite season. I'd really have to go back and think about every single, plot detail in the other two. But I can definitely say it's just as good. It's definitely on the same level. Really just amounts to what plot points you like the best, I guess. Because it's definitely not any worse. It's on that same level of quality that Shameless has had in seasons 1 and 2, and I don't see it dropping at any time soon. So, it's just a really great show, man. Obviously I'm not going to be able to get into every specific plot point, because there's just so many characters that get a really good amount of concentration, unless there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of big storylines, when there's a lot of little things that happen too that sort of continue. So there's gonna be a lot of things I miss, okay? But this is a general review. That's why I call it a general review, so you guys don't expect me to remember every bit of it. But the season starts off in a different way. Frank wakes up in Mexico pretty much. So you have that going on, and how he manages to finally get over the border again. It's different. Then again, maybe not so different, but it's maybe not surprising for him to actually do this. He ends up being a drug mule. And thanks to Sheila, he's able to fit not just 18 but 19 into his ass. But yeah, there's that. There's just so much that went on this season, man. And then he also had Jimmy, or Steve, or Jimmy as we know him now as, of course, with him leaving at the end of season 2. I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly now. Let me just see this real quick. He didn't leave at the end of season 2. I mean, that was at the end of season 1. What am I saying? But season 3, it had Jimmy back full force. He was back with Fiona, but there's a hell of a lot of shit that went on. Of course, he's still mixed up in this, crime world with this weird kingpin, crime boss or whatever he is, and he's still tangled in with Stefania or whatever her name is. That stuff is all really fun, and he ends up having this guy watching him 24/7, and Jimmy and him actually end up sort of becoming friends by the end of the season in a way. It seemed like they kind of had like a genuine bond, or brotherly type of thing in a way. I don't know. I almost hope to see more of that in a way, but I don't really know how. And it also it started in a pretty shocking fashion in the first episode as well, I think. Of course, Jimmy is able to get Stefania, her true love, over into the States and stuff like that, but her father ends up shooting the guy in the head. And I know it's on Showtime, so they can show things like that, but still, even with Shameless, I wasn't expecting just to see someone get boom. So that was different for sure. And I'm not going to be able to go through every episode. That's just really, really difficult. But I just want to touch on some general stuff for each character at least. Fiona, she had of course, Fiona, she's carrying a whole family on her back, so she constantly has a lot of stuff to deal with from them and both herself personally. And in a way, as the season went on, she finally found a place. She finally found somewhere where she could actually be somewhat happy or content with what she's doing, at least work-wise. And the whole office thing, in the later part of the season, it was good to see her actually find something she could at least be fine with doing and have an environment that actually makes her feel alright. So I liked all that. And, Lip, he was, of course, a big focus as well this season. Him and Mandy end up getting closer, and I'm liking the actress for Mandy. I still kind of wish they would have kept the same actress from season 1. I still don't really understand why they changed it in season 2. But I think the actress playing her now is doing a fine job, and I do sort of like her and Lip together. I definitely support her and Lip over Lip and Karen. I just don't really like Karen. I don't know. I just feel like she's pretty much what Mandy was saying she is, and so you kind of have that building up, and Lip's also, not really so much trying, but Mandy ends up applying him to a bunch of colleges, and they end up looking into him, and so Lip's starting to make progress with his life, whether he really wants that or not, and by the end of the season, he ends up actually, graduating high school and being accepted into MIT, which is really, really good. Of course, Lip has a very high intellect, and, him and Fiona are like the 2 most capable members of the Gallagher family for sure. So it was good to see that. And with the Karen and Mandy thing, I didn't expect Karen just to get ran over or hit by a car. And when that happened, I think that was like episode 9, episode 10 or so, 8, 9 or so. I don't know. I don't remember exactly, but I thought Karen was dead, and I was kind of happy because she got hit and she's laying in a pool of blood, but it turned out she was just in a coma. But this has changed her forever because she was able to come out of it after Jody did some weird stuff. I like Zach McGowan's character Jody. He's a complete airhead and a tool, but yet he's a semi-decent person. It's just really funny to see Zach McGowan play a character like this, then go off and play like badass, dead serious characters like Charles Vane on Black Sails, or his character on The 100. But yeah, I like Zach McGowan on the show. But yeah, Karen, she ends up being really loopy, having like mental issues. She still has memories, but she can't really make any new ones, and it's really hard for her to comprehend a lot of stuff. Or for her to actually, she might like comprehend something for 1 or 2 seconds, then she'll immediately sort of forget what was going on and stuff like that. Which is kind of sad to see. She doesn't deserve that. It probably would have been even better for her if she was actually dead instead of having to live like this. And of course, once Lip finds out what happened, that's just a huge thing between him and Mandy, and Mandy believes she did that for him, and Karen is like a poison or like toxic thing to him, which she kind of was. They both kind of were together, but yeah, I thought Mandy was just gonna like beat her or something like that, or try to fight her, but hit her with a car. Okay. But yeah, that stuff was all really good. I still do like Mandy though. I think her and Lip still have a connection. He did thank her for the MIT thing at the end of the season. Jody is now taking Karen to get her healed, and it's in different cities and stuff like that. So I imagine she'll return at some point. It's gonna be interesting when that does happen. He also had a really weird thing going on with Kevin and Veronica this season. What about Ethel? Ethel probably won't come up again, I don't think, but they're still trying for a baby in this season, and we find out that Veronica really can't, get pregnant. She has a lot of issues with that, and so what they end up resorting to is actually, Kevin having sex with their mother, and then the baby still being theirs. So that was really awkward all the way through. I like the first couple times where they tried it, Kevin just not wanting to look at her face. But then they weirdly both kind of got into it. And they were able to finally get the mother pregnant by the end of the season, and so we'll see where it goes. I'm still happy for Kevin. He deserves that. He's one of the really genuinely good people on the show, for the most part anyway. But this is a little off the rails, right? But still fun. You had a lot of other stuff going on this season. It's just really, really hard for me to wrap my mind around everything and remember. Sorry about that. Let me just look at something I posted about the finale last night. If I'm able to get the page to load. Like I said, Lip ends up being accepted into MIT, graduates high school. Of course, Fiona and the others take a lot of pride from that. He's the first Gallagher to actually graduate high school because Fiona dropped out. She tried to do the GED thing and such, but... And, Frank, he also... Something major happens to him at the end of the season. Basically, ends up finding out that he's going to die if he keeps drinking like he does, like alcohol poisoning and stuff like that. And of course, it's not really resonating with him. It's not really clicking with him the right way. But Fiona tries to get into his mind about it somehow, and saying, if you just let go and just keep doing what you're doing, you'll prove my biggest fear, and that you don't give a shit about us, any of us. That was a really well acted moment. Emmy Rossum just does such a great job as Fiona. I apologize if I mispronounced her name. I don't know if it's Emmy Rossum or Rosum. But she does a great job. Emmy deserves an Emmy, as I've said in every season review. And it seemed like it finally started to click with Frank a little bit. Because he did do one good thing this season, surprisingly. But before that, he did possibly the worst thing he's ever done, and that was reporting the kids to, or the house to Child Protective Services, which started a lot of shit. That was just completely awful. Even Kevin couldn't pour him a drink after that, really. And what happened with that, of course, they had their uncle Patrick coming in, who's played, I forget the actor's name, but he was on The Killing. I've watched a couple episodes of the first season of that. He's a very good actor. And, of course, he ends up trying to take the house away from him. And Debs is actually the one that pulls him out of that, saying, Uncle Patrick touched her and such, and that was crazy and weird, as the rest of it always is. But even after that, Frank did manage to do one good thing this season, and that's when him and Carl are pulling some shit, and Carl's going to be taken away by the police, but Frank actually took the blame for it, after they robbed the house of Carl's, foster parents, basically, because after they're all reported to Child Protective Services, they're all sent to different areas, like Carl went to this fancy family, this fancy gay couple, actually. Lip and Ian had to go to this home with a bunch of just sort of juvenile delinquents, basically, and so on and so forth. But Frank actually got arrested instead of Carl here after they had went back and stolen from the rich gay couple. And so even Lip said it. I guess hell finally froze over when he said Frank actually do a good thing for one of them. Even if it was mixed up in some shit he started in the first place, but still. I guess it is more that he's showing more than Monica, actually. So, and it seems like Frank and Carl actually have almost a decent father-son connection. It seems like they actually get along with each other pretty well. It seems like Carl actually cares, and Carl's younger also, so he's not gonna have all that terrible stuff from early on in his memory quite as much either. But still, it's gonna be tough. But I've been waiting for a while to see like a sliver of redemption, or not. Frank's never gonna be completely redeemed, but even just like a sliver of good in Frank and him doing something good for the family. I've been waiting for that, and this is almost it. I still think he needs to do more, but it's definitely some steps in the right direction. And will Frank actually quit drinking? I don't know about that, but Carl did shave his head. Sort of reminiscent of when Frank convinced Carl that he had cancer and he needed to go to this camp. Oh boy. Anyway. And then I mentioned Ian along with all that, and Ian, had quite a rough time this season. He had a connection with Jimmy's father, who he found out is gay. But of course, the main thing was between Ian and Mickey, and they end up, they're pretty close. But then, Mickey's father, the Malkovich father, Terry, ends up catching them. And he ends up forcing Mickey to fuck this girl and trying to, get the gay out of him, basically, which is just, it was a really hard scene to watch, just for Mickey and to be forced to do that, and Ian forced to watch, it was rough to watch, really. Then Mickey ends up getting married to this girl for his father's wishes, and, Ian tries to convince him not to go through with it, and even Mandy's, pissed at Mickey for that, after she finds out what they had and such. You can tell Mickey cares for Ian. He's gonna beat him around. He's not gonna really let that part of himself out. At least a more emotional side to it, past the fucking. But you can tell he cares, and there's some cracks in his armor once in a while. But it's like Mandy says, he's a pussy. He's not willing to act on how he feels completely, or take a stand for what he really wants and believes in. I think he will eventually, but now Ian is going off into the military, so that should be really interesting as well. No one really knows he left for good, for a 4-year thing minimum, so I don't know, we'll see how that goes though. Of course there's a lot more stuff that happened this season. Like I said, there's the Karen stuff, of course Sheila, all her weird stuff. I don't really like Sheila that much as a character, but she's a good actress. The actress playing her, Joan Cusack and such. Overall, it was a really good season. Again, I don't know if it was my favorite, but again, it was at the very least on the same level as the other two, and I'm really looking forward to starting season 4 soon. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can mention anything else in the season to me, and I would love to talk more about it. Shameless is a great show. I'm happy to still be catching up on. I hope I do catch up at some point so I can start doing reviews for it. Of each episode anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Whoops. Anyway, bye.